Another black girl with a YouTube channel said, what? A YouTube channel. Another black girl with a YouTube channel said, what? A YouTube channel. Hi, guys. Hope you guys had a fantastic week. Fantastic week. Fantastic week. Yeah, as always, my name is Miss Condi and welcome to today's episode. Again, we want to thank you for everyone who viewed our previous video. And liking and subscribing. I love you all. I'm almost to 30 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed, guys, you can like 30. That will be a milestone. You know, there'll be a milestone knowing that it's almost a month in, and or maybe it is a month in, I don't know. But please, guys, 30 subscribers are almost fumbled. Please get into 30 subscribers. I beg of you guys. Thank you. Anyways, yeah, I had a good week. If I can say I did. Met with the people I love. It's been a hopeful month, if I can say. Can I say hopeful month? I hope I can say that. But anyways, yeah. So, yeah, Conversation Wednesdays. You know, so I almost said Action Fridays. Yeah, Conversation Wednesdays. So, I had this thought after last week's video, right? I spoke about traumas in relationship and how people choose to be terrible people in relationships because of their previous traumas, right? And I was like, that's unfair. And just to go along with that, I thought of something, right? I thought of dating a broken person because I've been there, and yeah, I'm not saying every broken person is the same, but yay! Guys, wow, it was. I even spoke to someone that has dated a broken person before, and he had a similar view as me. Oh, you guys are lovely. Like, dating a broken person, it's lovely. They're lovely people until they become hard work. And shout out to those broken people who choose to heal while they're in the relationship to be better partners for their partners. Shout out to them. We see y'all. You don't go unrecognized. But then we get those people who they're broken, right? And then they get into relationships with the victim mentality. Like they're always the victim. Always, whether if it in friendship, they're victims as well. And relationships at home, well, nobody victims. Like, and maybe the brokenness did come from home, right? And that made them the victim of whatever mental breakdown they had, or whatever mental problem they're facing, or whatever challenges they're facing in life in terms of trust issues and building relationships with other, But when you're gonna date someone or go into a relationship with someone, I think the mentality should not be there, guys, because you're making it hard or more difficult for the other partner in the relationship. Because okay, from my experience, you do a lot of validating. Like you validate almost every day, and almost every day there's a new problem that you're facing. You become a under expect like no like you there are people who are naturally understanding, like they're unnaturally understanding partners, but the amount of work you put in, it gets tiring. Let's be honest, it gets tiring. And then because of the victim, and that it comes with a lot of gaslighting. When they do something wrong and you bring it up to them and be like, hey, listen, you did this and I was uncomfortable with it, or you did this and I felt offended by it. They apologize, and then they go like, but now you 1 2 3 1 2 3, but now you're looking at it in the wrong way. I was not there, I was here. It's something that happens, and it's unfortunate that you get to experience that, because they like, it's the gaslighting and the emotional blackmail of dating a broken person. It's the emotional blackmail. Like, they know how to manipulate emotions. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, they know they would do wrong, or you tell them you're uncomfortable with something, and they're like, okay, I get you, but my mind is not there. But you know, as long as like it doesn't, I don't know, what can I say? Just because your mind is not there, that doesn't mean I should be comfortable with it, right? And then from there, if they want something from you, and then you don't want to give it because you're uncomfortable, or you don't want to, or it's against your morals or principles that you have for yourself, they use emotional blackmail to get what they want. And if you are emotionally immature or not mentally stable to know when what is what, you fall into the trap actually, and you actually doing things out of, you know what, because they kind of use your love against you, because they want what they want so that it works for them. And yeah, and that's just messed up, honestly. And because of that, now you need to be emotionally aware of blackmailers. You need to be mentally prepared for the manipulation that comes with it. And it gets like a lot. It does. And because of that, like, I've realized how people say love is blind, but necessarily it's not. It's not blind, because the red flags are always in your face. Like, they're always there, they're always given, right? But our problem as people, it's that we tend to fall in love with the hope of them getting better rather than taking what they're giving us. You know, like, they're showing you that, hey, listen, I'm a manipulative person. Hey, listen, I emotionally blackmail people to get what I want. And you see that, and maybe you don't fall for the trap for the first 3 times when it happens, and you eventually fall for it because you became ignorant or became so hopeful, and you fell in love with the hope of the people will change, that you end up digging a hole for yourself, where now when that relationship is over, you find it hard to fall in love again, find it hard to trust people again, find it hard to believe that people can be good. Because it's sad when you see people enter relationships, right? And they find this good guy. And then they're like, this guy is too good to be true. And I'm like, what do you mean? Don't think, what do you mean? Or this girl is too good to be true. What do you mean? There are actually good people out there. And it's sad. For me, it's really sad. Like, I understand. I'm told next. Because and then people are like, I like toxic men, or I like toxic women. I think you need to get checked. Sorry, because I was not judge, and I'm not judging anyone, but I genuinely feel like if you like toxic people, you gotta sit down and understand the root and cause of it all, because you just don't attract toxic people if you're not surrounded by toxic men around you. You know, I feel like, or toxic women, you know, because it stems from something. You can't love something that's bad for you. It's something that might cause you problems in the future. I don't know if you get what I'm saying though. But yeah, I'm saying it. Yeah, that I generally feel like what I'm just saying goes along with dating broken people. And I did talk to a couple of people I mean too. And one of them was like, in my relationship, I was able to put my foot down. And that helped. I feel like with broken people, sometimes you gotta set clear boundaries, even though they will try to, step over them. Because you can't control how a person behaves or acts, honestly. But they do tend to be a lot. They do. And especially, there are partners that are like, okay, I see you, babe, but you are broken. I'll carry you through, and they actually change, and they actually promise their partners that I'll never leave you, and then they don't. And the partners now, they actually put in an effort to change, and they put in an effort to be a better partner to the other guy or other girl in the relationship, which makes it beautiful. But then you get those people who make you promise that you're not going to leave them. And because you are in that situation, and at that time you are in love with them, and you're falling in love with them, and falling in love with the hope of them going to be better people, or with the hope of them that they're gonna grow and treat you better, and maybe, yeah, they're just gonna grow. Let me just say that. And then you promise and you stay, and then they become the worst version of themselves. And then you're asking yourself, what have I done to deserve this? And you know you've done nothing at all to deserve what's happening to you, but because of your partner. And then you start looking, because they do come with a hell lot of disrespect, by the way. And then you come and you sit down and you just evaluate, and you're like, is it worth it though? Like, because clearly I'm being disrespected, or clearly I'm being manipulated, or clearly I, like, you feel, I don't know, like you can feel the pressure. Like, I don't even think I can call it pressure, but you feel it. Like, you go like, is it really, like, is it worth it? Like, and then when you ask this person the whatever questions you're asking, so that maybe you can get a clear view of your relationship and where this person stands, and you find that they're confirming exactly what you've been suspicious about. And then you get and then like you get demotivated, and because you promised that you're not going to leave, you thug it out. I believe that if something is toxic to you, for you in a relationship, you don't even necessarily have to thug it out, especially if you've communicated your problem before, because you get those people who intentionally do the thing that you complained about. Like, you sit down with them and you're like, hey, you're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I don't like it, or I'm uncomfortable with it, and I don't feel respected. I don't think you listen. I don't know what your communications are, but when I talk to you, you don't listen. You maybe you tell them when I talk, like, you are ready to answer rather than trying to understand what I'm trying to say to you. And then they're like, okay, I'll change, and then they change for like a week or two, and then they go back to their normal routines, or going back to being terrible communicators, disappearing, manipulating, blackmailing, and you kind of feel disrespected and unseen in that relationship. It actually happens. And then you go back and you ask, and you be like, hey man, I communicated this with you, why are we back there again? Because I've realized, especially with men, they give you what you want to hear, they say what you want to hear, and they show you what you want to see. That's what I've experienced. Like, they show you what you want to see, and then if you fall for it, and then the hope is like, oh no, he listened, he might change. And then you fall in love with that might, and you hold on to that might, and then they see that they got you where they want you, and then they go back to their old habits, because they know that you love them enough not to leave. Because I've seen women that they tend to choose relationship rather than themselves, and then when they are hurt too deep, or they see that the pain is unbearable, that's where they start to wake up and be like, nah man, I'm the one that's depleting in this relationship. I'm the one that's losing themselves. I genuinely feel like the moment you start losing yourself as a person, losing like your sanity, I feel like I can say that. If you start losing your sanity, start losing yourself emotionally, you're more angry than happy, moody, then I genuinely feel like it's time for you to sit down and evaluate yourself and evaluate your relationship, because that can be a red flag. It's a good thing if you're losing yourself in terms of bad habits. If you had bad habits and now you're dating this person and you realize that you're doing more good than bad, then yeah, that's a great thing, because you're seeing a personal growth in yourself, and you see the positive impact that your relationship has on you. But yeah, if you don't, then kuba kubi nje guys, nje kubabe nje kabi. I don't know. Have you ever eaten I don't know, there's this fruit. It grows on a no, never mind. I just leave that fruit. I don't know what it is. But there's those fruits. You know how an unripe, like, it's still green fruit, like, yeah, let's use a banana. You see how bitter and terrible unwrapped banana feels in your mouth. Like after eating it, like the taste, it's hard. It leaves yeah baba. Full stop. Yeah baba. So I feel like it's a good thing if your relationship is gonna impact you positively rather than negatively. And I've realized that a lot of people tend to forget that they're spiritual beings as well. So they just jump into a relationship without asking the partner their religion, what they believe in, how what they stand on, etc., etc. Because there will come situations where you do like you handle things. Maybe like example, I believe in God, and then my guy is an ancestral person, and then now we are in a situation where I believe that I need to pray and fast because I know this is a breakthrough, and he's like, nah, we gotta see the goms, and maybe from the goms we can do what is required of us, maybe like shaba and booze there, then there, and then talk to the ancestors, and they will provide a way out. And that becomes a clash because you are taught or you've chosen a different path of your life, and your partner has this thing that baba khuliseng us an ancestral thing that baba khuliseng, and like this is the way, and then that becomes a clash in a relationship. And in terms of marriage and everything, I generally feel like in your beginning stages of relationship, talk about uncomfortable conversations, from religion to how do you want to raise your kids, so that Uti, you and your partner, where do you guys stand? How are you guys going to navigate your relationships, and how will your religion or spiritual life impact each other? Because you might find out that your partner can actually be a huge stumbling block in your relationship with God. First off, it happens, and we tend to sometimes love our partners more than God, to a point where we break God's commandments just to please our partner. Like, let it sink in. Like, why? The question is why. Because yes, because I don't wanna carry on. I do wanna carry on, but I don't have the words. But I genuinely feel like people do have a tendency to put their partners over God. But anyways, so yeah, I generally feel like broken people need to heal, or if ever they decide to be in relationships, they shouldn't come with the mentality of a victim. Like, they are the victim, that if they are wrong, or when someone tries to tell them, hey, listen, you're wrong, and they try to manipulate the somebody, like, or gaslight them and be like, oh yeah, I hear that you're saying I'm wrong, but, and then you start gaslighting, please stop. It's unfair to your partner. Please stop. Like, sometimes when you're wrong, just accept what they hear, why they're saying you're wrong, apologize, and then if you don't come from a place of offense, then you explain to, no, I don't come from a place of offense, I was just saying. But don't now gaslight them and bring trust into it, and communication, and how you were broken, and how people in your life have betrayed you. Sometimes those things are unnecessary. Like, sometimes just listen, just be a better partner. I don't know, I feel like I've been complaining about people being terrible partners, hey? Or maybe I've become a picky person. But yeah, I think that's it on broken people and relationships. And I feel like I spoke about a lot of things. I don't even know what I was speaking about, but all I know is that at the beginning we were focusing on broken people. But I guess all of those things, they stem up or from being broken, or childhood traumas, or type of people around you. And I've realized, yeah, because I mean, that's all. I think that's it. And guys, you should stop saying cheating is a mistake. That's another thing I want to talk about. I've seen and I've heard a lot of people, when they cheat, they're like, oh, it's a mistake. Wang, wang, wang. It's not. We should stop lying to ourselves, and we should stop lying to people. When you cheat, you know what you're doing. It's not a mistake. Whether you were drunk or on drugs, unless you, like, there's being molested and then there's cheating. And when you make that decision of, I'm going to see another girl while my girlfriend is not around me, I'm going to see another guy while my guy is not around, while my boyfriend is not around me, then you're cheating. And you know. And then when they find out and you say it's a mistake, it's not. And it's never a mistake. It will never be a mistake. Because I genuinely feel like no matter how drunk you are, you always have this thing called a conscience. Unless you kill it. Like, for no matter how drunk you are and there's another lady here flirting with you and you're flirting back, I know for a split 2 seconds or 5 seconds, your partner just, your head's like, oh, what about Joseph? I know I'm conscious, I'm thinking of Joseph. And I'm like, if what doesn't, like, you think about Joseph and you push Joseph at the back of your mind and you carry on flirting with this other guy. It's a thing, it's real. And then after that, Joseph finds out, and then I say it was a mistake. Was it really? Or I just thought you wouldn't find out. You know, and people stop buying it when your partner's saying they cheated on you by mistake. They didn't. It was not a mistake. They knew what they were doing. It's just that they thought you wouldn't find out. And then when they were like, when she finds out, or when he finds out, I'll deal with it when that happens. And what happens when they find out, or when you find out, you start being manipulative and lying and saying it's a mistake and trying to understand how you fell on the trap of being tempted. Guys, do you know running? I actually feel like when temptation is in your face, just run. Or just block the person like, hey, no, I'm not interested. I have a man. Or no, I have a lady. And then just walk away. Honestly, like, or when they're trying to touch you, push them back and run and go away. Stand up, you have feet, you have hands, run. Push them away and tell them, nah, I said no, and no means no. Anything you do from there on, it's harassment. And I have a case because I told you no. But I guess because abantu bayingwababani, they will hide on the fact that it's a mistake and sell their partner's dreams, and then partners fall in love with the hope of it is a mistake and fall in love with the hope of he'll never do it again. And when they do it again, they get hurt worse than before because they actually believed it. But yeah, that's, I don't know, maybe for me that's how I feel. That's how I stand on cheating. It's never a mistake, whether you're drunk or on drugs or you're sober. I genuinely feel like mistake is something you do unintentionally, like dropping like when you mistakenly drop your phone, a kettle, a glass, you know. You mistakenly, like, you thought it was your pen, but you take your neighbor, like, you were sitting together on the table and you took a pen, you thought it was yours, but it's a mistake. But if I intentionally look at you and be like, oh yes, you know, if my partner does not know, it won't hurt them. Same as if I take my neighbors, I look at my neighbor and I'm like, if I take their pen and they didn't see me, I don't think they would notice. I take the pen, put it in my pencil case, go, come back tomorrow. He's like, you said you took my pen. And I'm like, no, it was a mistake. I thought it was mine. It's not a mistake. I looked at you and I noticed that you were noticing and I took your pen. Same as cheating. I saw this girl, thought about you, and I was like, nah, I don't think she will find out and then cheat. So I genuinely feel we should stop lying to each other. But anyways, this was just my 2 cents, you know, on all of this. That's all for Conversation Wednesday. And I hope to see you all again on Reaction Fridays. From me, Maskandi, to you guys.